Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us on this Obon service day. Excuse me. My name is Barbara Brennan, and I will be your MC. Today's service order is Vandana and Ti-Sarana, Sutra Chanting, 12 Homages, message by Reverend Poho Tata, and the Gatha Nembutsu. Let us start today's service by chanting Vandana and Ti-Sarana, led by Reverend Shingo Kurusawa. Please rise.
Namo tassa bhagavato arahato sammasambuddhassa. Homages to him. Supremely awakened one. gacchami. Dhamma Saranam gacchami. Sangha Saranam gacchami. I go to the Buddha for guidance. I go to the Dharma for guidance. I go to the Sangha for guidance. Namandab, 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 namandab.
Please be seated. Today's Sutra chanting is 12 Homages. Due to COVID-19, only the minister will chant the sutra.
God am over
Amida Daribir in Buddha's wonder spirit, Bodhisattvas gather round, golden form like a mountain king. Set first like the elephant's face, Buddha's eyes like the blue lotus. Thus I bow to Amida, Buddha's form run like the moon. Bright like thousand sun and moons, Buddha's voice like the nightingale. Thus I bow to Amida, Buddha's figure on Kanon's crown. Adorned with wondrous features, Buddha subdues evilness. Thus I bow to Amida, beyond compare. Virtues shining clear like space, all benefit from Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida, Bodhisattvas Orinam. Morals to praise Amida, primal made for our sake. Thus I bow to Amida, golden ponds where lotus bloom. As a throne of goodness, Buddha lives like the I bow to Amida. Bodhisattvas come offer, attaining true happiness. They reveal the Buddha's face. Thus I bow to Amida. All life changes like the dew. We have no permanent self. Buddha teaches this law to all. Thus I bow to Amida. No evil in the pure land, and no fear of evil purse. Faithful hearts are Buddha. Thus I bow to Amida, saving us through many ways. No tempers, no evil friends. First leads to enlightenment. Thus I bow to Amida. Amida, thus I have praised. Virtues boundless like the sea. These virtues shared with others, converse into the pure land.
This year, we are fortunate to have as our speaker, Reverend Koho Takata. He is a second son of the 19th generation of his family's Jodo Temple in Toyama, Japan. Reverend Takata studied Jodo Shinshu Buddhism at Ryukoku University in Kyoto, graduating in 1993. Many of you know him since he came to Hawaii in 1995 and served at Hawaii Betsuin. In 1998, he left Honolulu to be the resident minister of Kapa'a Hongwanji on Kauai for 7 years. Reverend Takata returned to Honolulu in 2005, where he was the executive assistant to the bishop for 6 years under Bishop Yosemori and Bishop Okano. In 2011, Reverend Takata left Hawaii Kyoto to join the Buddhist Churches of America, where he first served as the resident minister of the Arizona Buddhist Temple in Phoenix. In 2013, he moved to California to become resident minister at the Los Angeles Betsuin. He is currently, minister at the West Los Angeles Buddhist Temple. Reverend Takata's message is entitled Gathering of Joy in Nembutsu. Reverend Takata.
Please join me in the show. My eyes being hindered by blind passions. I cannot perceive the light that grasps me. Yet the great compassion, without tiring, illuminates me always. Namo Amidabus, Namandabus, 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 Namandabus. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for inviting me to the Obon service of Hawaii Betsuin. I was originally invited to Spring Ohigan service last March, but due to the COVID-19, I had to cancel my flight. And since I have the airline credit for my travel to Hawaii, I could come to Hawaii at this time and join your Obon service. I'd like to extend my sincere gratitude and appreciation to Hagyo Rinban, Betsuin ministers, and members of the temple for giving me this precious opportunity to share the Buddha Dharma with you today. And this morning, I'd like to share the Buddha's teaching with you through my own experiences. As you may already know, I was born and raised in my family temple. And when I entered elementary school, I guess I was 6 or 7 years old. I was forced to join in the morning service of my family temple by my parents and my grandparents. As you may know, Toyama located next to Niigata or Echigo, where Shinran Shonin was exiled. Both Niigata and Toyama are known as snow country, so it was very cold during the winter time. However, there was no heater in the temple. I could wear only this robe. I remember I was always freezing at the temple. We always chanted Shoshinge, Wasan, Gobusho, letter of Renya Shonin at the morning service. It took about 45 minutes. I had to sit on the tatami floor during the service. The chair was not allowed to use like in this country. I remember I couldn't walk at all after sitting 45 minutes on the tatami mat. I didn't have any feelings on my feet. It was a very painful experience. And after the morning service at the temple, we then moved to our residence and had another morning service in front of my family altar. To tell the truth, I was always unwilling to join in the morning service because I had to get up early in the morning, because it was very cold in the winter time, because I had to sit on the tatami for a long time. I always thought about my friends, that they were still sleeping with warm stone. My mother and grandmother woke up daily around 4 in the morning. The first thing they had to do was cooking rice for the Buddha. I remember that they were cooking rice with a very big rice cooker. My mother and grandmother were putting rice on the vessel of the offering of rice by using all the rice they could. The size of the altar of my family temple is the almost same size of this altar. We offered 6 rice to the temple's altar, 2 for Amida Buddha, and 1 each for Shinran Shonin, Renya Shonin, 7 masters, and Prince Shotoku. We also offer rice to our family altar as well as our temple altar. And after the morning service at the temple and also at our residence, my father collected all the rice offered to the Buddha and brought them back to our kitchen. Then we had breakfast. Those offerings of rice were our breakfast. I hope many of you enjoyed breakfast this morning, but I was never allowed to eat breakfast before morning service. Before eating breakfast, I had to attend morning service at my family temple. In the old days in Japan, rice was very precious. It was not only a staple food, but it was also used as currency. Those who had power and authority in Japan at that time were ranked according to the amount of the rice they controlled and possessed. Samurai were not fully paid by money, gold or silver, but in the fixed amounts of rice. They could eat rice only on the special occasions, so rice was the most precious food for them. So they offer the most precious rice to the Buddha first, and then they ate the rice after the service. By the way, do you know how many offering of rice made at our mother temple, Honzan? They have Oedo, Founders Hall, and Amida Hall, and the total number of obupan is 43. So they cook 20 pounds of rice, starting from 3 in the morning every day. The biggest obupan is offered to Shinran Shonin in the Goedo, and the size of the obupan is almost same size on my face. It's a little big, very big obupan. Anyway, unlike this country, in Japan, we don't use a angezoko, raised bottom made of wood. From the very bottom of the vessel, we fill the rice. In this country, on the raised bottom, we place the rice with plastic wrap. In Japan, we don't use both raised bottom and plastic wrap for the offering of rice. And we put rice directly on the vessel. And after around 1 hour of service, the offering of rice became cold. And I could smell the incense from the rice. So I always wondered why I had to eat cold rice, and I wanted to eat freshly cooked rice and warm rice. Also, it was too much rice because we didn't use the rice bottom. However, my Oji-chan didn't allow me to leave even a grain of rice. My Oji-chan didn't allow me to even use the microwave and warm the rice. And I also wanted to put burikake, raw egg, natto on the rice to eat. However, my Oji-chan never allowed me to do it. He always told me, you are eating the best food, which is the Buddha's rice. You receive the rice from the Buddha, and it is very precious. So you have to eat the precious rice from the Buddha as it is. I didn't understand the explanation my Oji-chan always gave me, but I followed what he always told me and continued till graduating from high school. And when I went to university in Kyoto, I rented an apartment and lived by myself. I remember my Oji-chan gave me a big family altar for me to bring to Kyoto and continue daily morning service. Anyway, after graduating from university, I became an overseas minister, and I was assigned to this temple, Hawaii Betsuin. And during 16 years of ministry in Hawaii, I saw a lot of different Obon offering of rice in Hawaii. Instead of rice, they offered bread, dry soba, or dry udon, fruits such as osonae, orange, apple, banana, etc. And one minister was making obon with umeboshi or kombu, like onigiri, rice ball. And the most surprising obon was very hard and very cold obon. I guess he made the offering of rice with freshly cooked rice for the first time. But after the service, he collected the rice and put them in the freezer. Then he used again when he was in charge. As you know, our temple altar represents the world of enlightenment, Amida Buddha. So everything in the altar is supposed to be Buddha-centered. We offer flowers, incense, and light to the Buddha. We also offer rice and fruit to the Buddha. However, as I encountered the barriers of Obon in Hawaii, I was made to realize my self-centered nature through the Obon. The reason why there were so many different kinds of Obon was due to their self-centered thoughts. I would eat the Obon after the service, but I would not eat the white rice, so that I would offer brown rice, bread, fruits, etc. to the Buddha. So various kinds of Obon made me realize my self-centered nature too. The altar was supposed to be Buddha-centered. However, my self-centered nature was always in the altar. I was also made to realize my Oji-chan wanted me to teach about the essence of the Buddha Dharma. He always told me to eat the precious rice from the Buddha as it is sonomama. And he never explained why. but I guess he wanted me to realize the fundamental teaching of the Nembutsu. It is to receive the Buddha's teaching as it is. I sometimes tend to understand teaching intellectually and academically in my head on what is the Buddha's primal birth, what is the wisdom, compassion, etc. However, my Oji-chan taught me to embody the Buddha Dharma by receiving the teaching as it is and experience the Buddha Dharma in my daily life. So I'm aware that I'm always embraced by the Buddha as I am. And I'm truly grateful for this realization. I believe Obon can be expressed with 5 R. The first is remembrance. Obon is a reminder to remember my Oji-chan, what he has taught me. And the second is reflection. Obon reminds me to reflect upon myself, my nature, the Buddha Dharma. And the third is realization. I was made to realize my self-centered nature and also the Buddha's perfect guidance through the Obon. The fourth is rededication. Obon always reminds me to rededicate myself and further listen to the Buddha Dharma in my daily life. The fifth is rejoicing. I rejoice in the Buddha's great compassionate mind that I'm always supported and guided by the Buddha. So let us remember about our loved ones, reflect upon through our true nature, and realize the perfect guidance of the Buddha, rededicate ourselves, and rejoice ourselves in the Nembutsu, Namo Amida Butsu, as a true and real life in our daily lives. Thank you very much for listening. Would you please join me in the show? My eyes being hindered by blind passions, I cannot perceive the light that grasps me. Yet the great compassion, without tiring, illuminates me always. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Akata, for sharing your life, your thoughts, and your history. That was very special to listen to. We will now sing the Dharma Message. This will be led by Reverend Saul Paulo. We are singing it a cappella since we don't have any music. Okay, so if you could all rise. You may be seated. That sounded wonderful. Maybe we should do that more often. So this concludes our 2021 Obon service. I want to thank you for attending and for joining us today. I want to thank Reverend Takata again for giving us such a wonderful Dharma talk. So this is 4th of July weekend. I hope you all enjoy yourselves and eat hot dogs and hamburgers. But anyway, keep in mind the freedom that we do enjoy on 4th of July. Thank you very much. Drive home safely.